Hi, Janet. I'm so excited that you're here today. We're very aligned in what we're doing. If you can just explain to the viewers what you do.
So my name is Janet Morrison. I'm the founder of Red Feather Serenity. And so there's a few different things that I do. And the one of the main ones is your birthday codes. So I look at being able to look at your birthday, and it comes down to 4 digits, and then it will tell you a lot about yourself, kind of like a little bit of an owner's manual for yourself. And then I also do work in energy and ego and inner child kind of work as well. And they all kind of play together. So we can go deeper into what all that means.
That's awesome. I've done a little bit of research on numerology, but I don't know a whole lot. You did do my reading. Do you want to
Hmm.
go over the numbers that I have?
Yeah, we'll go over it. So there is a little bit of difference between the birthday codes and numerology. So numerology will look, if you look at like traditional numerology, it's going to look at, you'll get your life path number out of it. Human design will get your life path number as well. But numerology then looks at your name, like how your name is when you were born. So this is actually just looking at the codes in your birthday. So if we look at yours, yours an 8, which is an achiever, you're a 6, which is a counselor, and a 7, which is a philosopher. And overall, you're a 3, which you're an artist, which is, so I always want to make the caveat with the artist. People always think of like I got a paintbrush here, right? So they always just think of, oh, I'm going to paint. But actually, the artist is anything about expressing yourself. You're a communicator. That 3 is your joy number. It's about, overcoming and expressing. It could be through writing. It could be through podcasts. It could be through like whatever that is that makes it. So you're very creative. You've got a lot of creativity. Threes also have a lot of energy. They're outgoing. But I'm looking at your 7 and knowing that the outgoingness is going to depend on the energy in the room. So you're going to be able to tap into the energy of the room. So there'll be sometimes you're like, yeah, really outgoing and talking to everybody and all those things. And then the other side of it's going to be like the energy's bad. You're going to be like, I am not saying a word. I'm going to be just over here in a wallflower. And so there might be times you're like, why is it like sometimes I can be and sometimes I can't? And it's because you're picking up on those energies. Threes are also outgoing. They have a lot, they're energetic, they're enthusiastic. And very outgoing. And the one thing too is like with your 7, we're kind of talking about with your 7 is sometimes there might be times that you are outgoing because you feel the energy and you feel good and you're going to be outgoing. And then there's going to be other times that you're going to be like, oh no, I'm not. I'm going to be a wallflower. And that's because you're picking up on energies in the room. And that's going to decide whether you're going to be outgoing or not. And the other thing that's interesting is the 7 is very curious. You have a lot of curiosity and you want to learn about the world around you. So you're always diving into deeper things, learning new things, that kind of stuff. And so because of that curiosity with your outgoingness, you probably never met a stranger. You'll talk to people, you'll ask them questions, want to know about them. What about this? So the fact that you have a podcast asking people questions kind of makes sense, right? It's very aligned with your numbers. So with your 3, real quick, while we're on it, it's also your joy number. So when you can learn to express yourself, it brings more joy into your life. The other thing with 3s is it has you have self-doubt in here. So learning to overcome that self-doubt to express yourself, to put yourself out in the world. Once you learn to do that, you're going to be like golden. All right, so let's talk about the 7. We'll go, since we were talking about the 7 a little bit. The 7's a philosopher, which really cool energy is. I love the 7. It's tapped in intuition wise more than any of the other numbers. So you have lots of intuition. You're also very introspective and perspective, and you like to go in and think a lot. 7's also like to self-isolate, and they're fine. That's how they like recharge their social batteries, is to be by themselves, and then they come back out. So like learning how to do that. It's interesting, like whenever a 7 is with somebody that's got a 6 in them, like if somebody has a lot of 6s, they might not understand a 7 because a 7 needs to self-isolate, and a 6 might feel like they're detaching from them when really it's like, no, I just need a little time. Then I'll come out and I'll be social and I'll talk to you and I'll be all kinds of stuff. You
So,
also
for
like to have deep
example,
conversations. Do what? Yeah, go
for
ahead.
example, my human design, I go and I post on social media for 3 weeks, and then I need a week to come home and like be by myself to like digest, and then I come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So understanding that, now you can work with that rhythm versus going, man, why can't I do it all 4 weeks, right? Like otherwise, like if you listen to, the world around us, it may bring a lot of shame and guilt because you're like, man, I need this week to recharge, but maybe something's wrong with me. And nothing's wrong with you. That's part of your design, is you need to have that time to take care of yourself and then
So
come back out.
our coach also talks about using your cycle. So if I can sync
Mm.
this with my cycle, I could take that week that I need to like step back and rest.
Yeah, no, isn't that interesting? So yeah, so if you can get it to work that way, then you can work with yourself and it'll be a lot easier. You'll have more
Mhm.
flow in your life because you'll be working with it and understanding it. So sevens can tend to overthink. So you add that overthinking with that self-doubt and it can really spiral you down. So just understanding and trying to stop that and will help you a lot and be able to post more, show up more, because a lot of times that self-doubt that runs around in our head is not our voices. It's not us. It's everything we've heard, right? It's somebody told us this or society says this. And so if we can stop those words in our head, so that's where the curiosity, get curious about those words. So
Mhm.
like if it's like, oh, I never show up or I can't do that, then go, well, really, can I not? Am I not good enough? Well, I'm good enough here. I'm really good at this stuff, right? So you can kind of like talk yourself out of that self-doubt. Yeah, it's tricky.
I think the one
So,
thing too is I've been reflecting so much in my life that it's
mhm,
given me so much wisdom. So, for example, I had a trauma event in my early 20s, and for 15 years I stayed single because I was so broken that I spent time alone a lot. And I
mhm,
think that taught me a lot about myself. So I have a defined G center in my human design. So I know myself. And with the fire energy, the Leo, I come in confident. And I think people perceive me as like cocky or, not approachable. And that's absolutely not me. Like you just said,
right.
I can
Hmm.
sit and like talk to anybody. And if they give me that space to like just allow me in a crack, I have lifelong friends, which is really cool. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of the seven too, is they're mysterious. So people do feel like that, like there's a little, because they are so introspective and stuff. Yeah. So
mhm.
that's part of that seven. It's kind of neat. But yeah, you get to know a seven and man, it's awesome, right? You can go deep in conversations
Yes.
and then sevens are also the seeker of truth. Like you want to know the truth about things. And so
Mhm.
sevens can almost be like human lie detectors if they believe their instincts, because their instincts are the little spidey senses are going to go, wait, something's wrong. And then they're going to dig into and be like, oh, you're lying to me.
If you lie to me, just my whole body just says absolutely not. Like I
Absolutely
just
not.
know. So that's so
Yeah,
true.
that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So now let's talk about like the six and the eight over there, which is very interesting. So the six is the counselor. So you like to support people and be there for people. You're also very dependable, nurturing, caring, compassionate. A lot of empathy comes in with your six as well. And then six is like harmony. They like things to be all in harmony. They don't like when things are out of whack with people. They're also great in chaotic situations because they'll bring harmony in.
Mm.
So they're the ones that'll step into a situation and talk to people and bring people down, talk them into like get calm in a situation. So it's really neat to see like sixes. The one thing though with sixes is they self-sacrifice. They'll give and give and give till there's nothing left to give, and then they'll give and give and give. So learning boundaries for a six is really important, but boundaries do not like, or sixes don't like boundaries. They're like, la la la, I don't hear it, right? They have the hardest time with boundaries because they like when things are in harmony. So when you set boundaries with somebody and somebody doesn't like it, because you normally, they get taken advantage of and stuff like that. So when they set boundaries and now they have like it's there's chaos in that relationship. And so the sixes go like, oh, I'll just take it in. So there'll be harmony in that relationship, even though itself, it's not good for you. So learning boundaries is going to be huge.
I think
And
I
it's
need to
hard
go to a boundary school.
boundary school to learn boundaries. Yeah. But sixes have the hardest time with boundaries. And it's
Yeah.
understandable, but it's like, yeah. The other thing with sixes is they want to fix everything for everyone. So they want to be that person and learning like where their responsibility ends and the other person begins. So they can help and be a supporter, but not take on everything from everyone else. It'll drain you and you'll burn out really quickly.
And this is why I
Uh,
stayed single for 15 years.
yeah, yeah.
Because the only way I can have boundaries is to not have a person in my life,
Right.
right?
Because
And
of, mhm.
I flourish being alone because I don't absorb their energy. So, for
Yep.
example, all my past partners were wounded, let's say.
Hmm.
I need to find someone that's a healed masculine that I could rise with, right? Because I
Yep.
need to take on their energy. Like your partner who you choose is so important.
It's
And
very
even my
important.
physical body has shifted because of my past people.
Hmm.
And I have photos to show you the before and after of being with someone that didn't have boundaries. right? It
Hmm.
physically changed my body, which is
Yeah.
sad because you want to be your best self, but it doesn't, like, yeah. If
It's,
I could give
yeah.
advice to anybody, like, who you choose is the most important decision you make.
It is, and sometimes though, like our nervous system, like if we're not healed, we're gonna pull to people that are not good for us. So even though we're like, oh, I want to pick better, but if you're not healing and healed yourself in certain ways, you're gonna pull people in. So like your six, if you didn't heal your six, you would always end up in relationships where they just took from you and it would
So
deplete you.
I just got out of a relationship of what they call a dark triad. I don't know if you know what that is. So
No, I haven't.
they love bomb you, they drain your bank account, and then they ghost you. So it's like almost like a empath narcissist kind of balance.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's why I say I went through that spiritual school recently, because I had to witness the process so I could teach the people, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Makes
and
sense.
that's part of it too, like to be able to teach and like once you've been in a relationship like that, like it's hard for if you've never been in a relationship like that, it's hard to understand people that have gone through relationships
Mhm.
like that. It's one of those things you have to have like been there and done that to be able to help people through relationships like that. So it kind of sucks, but yeah, as
It's hard.
empaths, we're
Yeah, it's
go
hard
ahead.
going through it, but grateful that it happened, right? Because now I'm
Right.
aware.
Yeah, and like and that's why like a lot of empaths, like that's kind of it. Empaths will bring in narcissists and it's part of their lessons to learn in life, to learn how to like set boundaries and take care of themselves and things like that. But it yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's
I've been through
okay.
my own, so I know
Yeah,
what it's like. So
at least
it
there's
was not
gratitude infused in the pain point, right? Because then
right. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
consciously
Become
aware of the situation and then you get to heal and move forward, which is, I'm
hmm.
grateful. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So okay, in the six, real quick, as to finish this one out. So the six comes in perfectionism too. So learning how to like process progress over perfection. So learning that it doesn't have to be perfect before you put things out there. And that'll kind of like tie into your three as well, right? With the
mhm.
overcoming self-doubt and expressing yourself. And then the eight, which is neat to have the eight in here, which is the achiever. So this is where you're very ambitious, you're driven, but you could be very confident and authoritative, practical. The eights are also like if you look at the eight, it's an infinity symbol, so they think it's abundant. So you can bring in success into your life. So pretty much, if you believe in it, you can create success however you want. Sometimes eights, I don't usually like talking about money with eights because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm supposed to have money, right? And but eights can have that ability if you step into the power of it. And eights also have like, I don't know if you've ever had where like money just kind of finds you sometimes, where like you put your hand in your pocket and you come out with some money in there, or there's a check that comes in the mail and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I got a refund for $100 on something, right? Like eights
Mhm.
kind of just have that kind of ability to come to them.
Right.
And so it's kind of neat, like they have that. But it's leaning into the power of the eight. So when I say that, because sometimes people won't resonate because they're in the shadow side of the numbers. And if you're in the shadow side of the numbers, you're very like materialistic and it's all about trying to, achievement. And, you kind of get very almost narcissistic in a way, right? Like very, trying to, conceited, that kind of thing. But when you go into the power of the number where you can just kind of be in the flow, you can bring in success into your life. So eights will be like creating their own business and things like that. I have an eight in my number as well. So you got a lot of resilience to turn challenges into success. And with eights come work life balance. So they're like, it's really hard to rest. Give yourself permission to rest. You probably
Mhm.
feel like whenever you try to rest, it's like you shame yourself or guilt yourself. I should be doing this. I got
I'm
it my to do
usually sick.
list.
If I'm
Do
resting,
what?
I'm sick.
Right. But you should rest before you get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like rest should be a part. Like rest is just as important as everything on your to-do list. But we haven't been taught that, right? Like in our
Right.
society and everything like that, it's supposed to be like, no, you got to go, go, go. That you're only worthy if you're producing. But rest is just as important. So work-life balance is important. And the other one is for eights is trusting others. So learning to trust others to like because you can't do it all on your own. Eights want to do everything on their own. I'll take care of this. I've got this. And you couple that with your six. Yeah, you're the strong one. You're the one like, I just want to I'll take it all on. I'll do it. I don't need anybody to help me. But learning how to delegate and trust others is going to be really important for you.
Yes.
So, yeah. So when you look at them all together, so basically a lot of this is taking care of yourself, um, giving yourself with a lot of that grace and overcoming that self-doubt so you can express yourself and leaning into the power, which looks like a lot of the things you're doing leans a lot into that, right? With what, if you look at what you're doing a podcast where you're talking to people, you're expressing yourself, you're putting yourself out there and on social media and showing up as you. And then you've got the curiosity, you've got the compassion. So you're helping others, right? You're helping
Mhm.
others bring them up, and that's going to cause success not only for them, but for you. So you're leaning into the power of your numbers, which is really awesome.
Which
So,
is crazy because my whole life I've been sitting behind a computer screen. I'm a graphic designer, so I don't talk to anybody. I just work with a computer all day. So,
hmm
just for example, I used to do gymnastics, bodybuilding, trampoline, fitness modeling, dance. I did all kinds of dance from salsa to ballet. And then my trauma happened and all of that went away. And I hid in a relationship where the person was an alcoholic. And then I was single for 15 years. I was married in a disconnected relationship. And now I'm trying to find my way, right? But it wasn't
hmm
until this year that I started to step into like my power and take up space and use my voice. So, like you say, the creative part is where I want
SE3. hmm
the three. Okay, so I
hmm
want to be able to use my body as my canvas. So, whether that's dance or my voice or even like tattoos, I don't know. Like, I don't know what that
Right.
looks like, but my
hmm
future will look very different from my past. And I think that's why I was so attracted to fitness modeling at the age of like 13 because it was a creative expression of my physical self,
Yep.
right? So,
hmm
just for example, I trained for 2 years, had a backflip coach. I had a pro card coach, like she was amazing. I had someone sew my clothes, make my music, and I didn't go on stage because my wound is my visibility. So, like, what can I create now when I'm conscious, healed, and like I don't care. When you get older, you stop kind of worrying about silly things.
Right. Yeah.
So, like
Exactly.
I always tell people like what's this next year for me gonna look like? And I'm
hmm
transitioning like so we just had the year of the 9 and we're in the year of the 1. I'm a
Yep.
fire horse and
I'm going to
my
see what your
birthday's
personal year is
yeah,
too.
my birthday's coming up in August, and I think it was you that said I'm
Yeah,
transitioning
you're
into.
transitioning from a year 5 to a year 6.
Oh, okay, what does that mean?
So a year 5 is major changes.
Oh, yeah,
So this is,
that just
yeah,
happened.
right, yeah.
My
So
canvas
major,
is blank right now, just so you know.
right. So like, yeah, 5 is major changes. That's when like, that's when like, you could have things like losing jobs or relationships or, whatever. Like
All
five's,
of it.
all of it or all of it, yeah. And then 6 is your harmony year. So
Oh,
this is a year to
amazing.
kind of build kind of like the harmony and building your space and kind of building your foundation. So things get shook up on 5, and then you're going to rebuild it in
So I
6.
don't
So
know
you,
if the energy is aligned or the planets or whatever, but it started on July 1st. So we're 3 days
yep.
into that energy. I'm just
hmm
letting you know. My little emotional breakdown this morning was allowing the vision of what my future looks like. And I was just so grateful that the tears like just started to fall. So it was so exciting.
hmm Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
starting to step into that joy of your 3. It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yep. So that's where you're at. So that's cool. Yeah, to get that year 5 behind you is awesome.
Mm.
Yep. And the one thing too with the personal years, I know we're kind of going off topic on this, but with your personal years, it doesn't always happen right on your birthday. It can happen a little bit before or a little bit
Oh,
after, but it's
okay.
usually around your birthday. So if you're feeling it come in already, then you could be like already stepping into the year of the 6 for you.
Yeah,
And
we're
then you're
about 1 month out. My birthday's the 6th, though.
the 6, yeah. So you're right there. So you're stepping into the energies of your 6. And then you've got the fire horse behind it because the fire horse is the collective, right? Like the year is the collective. So the collective is on year 1. Last year was year 9. And so then you couple that with where you're at. So now you've got the fire horse energy that's going to help you create that harmony and peace within your life and what you're going to set the foundation going forward. So yeah, it's really
So,
cool.
for example, my whole life, I've been ahead of everybody. I think it's because I'm meant to be a teacher. So it makes sense that I'm getting the energy before everybody else because I think I'm supposed to like say lead by example. So
Hmm.
even when I was in youth, like in teenage years, I would get the lesson and then I'd watch my friends go through the same problem and then they would come to me and I would counsel them basically. So in
Yep.
my soul, I always thought I would be a therapist, but my creative side took over. So
Hmm.
me sitting in an office all day talking about people's problems was not attractive, right? Because I needed to dance and play and create. And I think the greatest thing about social media is I get to do both,
Yes, exactly. You could
right?
bring it all together. Yeah,
That's so
and that aligns
exciting.
perfectly with all your numbers too.
It's
Hmm.
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep. So you can't make this stuff up. It's kind of crazy. So,
No.
yeah.
So I'm just going to read, this is what my AI put out real quick. So the
Okay.
interesting combination, this is actually what fascinates me. Your numbers aren't random. They create a progression. So 8 is leadership, 6 is compassion, 7 is wisdom, and 3 is expression. And to me, that's almost a story. Lead, care, seek the truth, and then share it. So like that just goes in line with what I just said about social media, about like the whole numbers, they're not random and they're not separate. It's a story and it's mine. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact
Yep.
that I get to be an artist on social media, I just have to stop stumbling over my visibility wound and
Mm-hmm.
just show up and not care. Like just the childlike play that we talked about in our class was me not asking permission to just be, right? So I think it's
Yes.
really important that adults learn to just like come back to themselves and not care and just
Yep.
have fun.
Yep. And that's how we learn. Like if you look at like when we're kids, that's when we learn. We learn by play and by doing, fun things, and I think there was somebody had said something on social media that really resonate that I keep in my mind is like that whole like nobody's coming to save you, but
Hmm.
also nobody's coming to stop you. And so it's like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna keep going and doing what I'm doing and then I'm also noticing the more I show up, because I have a visibility wound too. I also have a 3 in my numbers. And so the more that I show up as me, the more people come and you know what I mean? So I'm creating my tribe, I'm creating my community, and it's kind of cool. It's like, yeah. Or have you ever heard the saying, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission? So it's kind of like
Yes.
that. Like, yeah, let's not wait for permission anymore. Let's go for it. Let's do it. And yeah, it's so easy to get like caught up in, especially when, let's say you have a vision and then you start telling people about it and they're like, oh well, this, right? Everybody likes to poo poo on your visions, and it's
Yes.
because that's not their vision. It's like there's a guy that talks about it. It's like you have your prescription glasses and this is your vision. You hand it to somebody else, they're not going to see it. So
Right.
if you're trying to get validation and permission from people that can't see your vision, you're never going to do it. So you have to kind of like be your own, uh validate yourself and give yourself permission just to go do it and see what happens.
I'll give you a quick example.
Yeah.
Did you see my vehicle before?
I've seen your vehicle now, right? Your Jeep?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
my whole life I was taught you have to work hard for money. Don't go and buy a new car. And so I always spent less than $5,000. So like a lot of the times they were just junk. I was gonna buy a two-door thinking it was cheap, and I ended up buying the four-door, and I instantly that day from the dealership, I drove it to a garage and got it modified and started turning it into a camper, like overland
Yeah.
vehicle. And the people that you say poo poo on your vision, I have a lot of family that complain and like say, why do you do this? Why do you
Hmm.
spend money on lights and modifications? And I'm like, this is my canvas. This is my play
Hmm.
place. I like to be outdoors and I want to, go on an adventure and sleep in the bush and just have fun and just be with nature because that's my
Hmm.
sanctuary. So, I don't care what people say anymore because it's not about me. It's about their internal
It's
belief.
their limitations that yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
So now I just show up with grace and say, I know you're going to complain. I just take it in and I walk away with none of it. Because before I
Yep.
used to take all that in and hold on to it. But
Hmm.
now I'm like, I want to build another one. Like I love playing with vehicles. Like I'm a car girl at heart, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I think
it's
that's
so
great.
fun to play, but imagine if I start playing in all areas of my life and giving
Hmm.
myself the permission to just do the things,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
think it's fun.
I think it's fun too. It is a lot more like now because I was that way too, right? I would always be like shrink myself and like in my numbers, my three is my like oddball. And so everything else is very ambitious and driven and stuff. So it was kind of sitting over there like again, like 5 years ago, I would have never done this. I would have never been on social media, never trying to do any of this stuff. I would have been scared to death and like, no. Like I didn't even like in meetings when they go around and you have to say your name, I'd be like shaking and nervous and
Same.
all that stuff. But Ray is like, oh, I'm not speaking. And so, like, overcoming that is like, I have so much more joy now and give myself permission to have fun and to do these things. And now I get to do things that I would have never thought was possible before. And I don't even know what the future is going to bring. And I'm excited about it. It's almost, exciting to do that. So,
But you're
yeah.
killing it on TikTok right now. Like you're doing, well,
Well,
right?
I'm trying. I'm getting there. Yeah. I'm having a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
I think
fun.
once more people find out like what you offer, I think it's
Hmm.
really interesting because then I think numerology isn't as popular as astrology, right?
No.
And it's the
Yeah.
same with
It's
human
not.
design. People are just waking up to that. So
Hmm.
I think it's interesting when you know all of the things, it all tells a story.
It
So,
does.
and now with AI, you can meld all these things together, have an output of like your core. And I talk
Hmm.
about like your core genius. That's a product that I just try to teach people how to find what you love. But there's so
Right.
much access to information now. And people like you and people like my friend Sherry that like they just read your energy. And then, for example, I can shift from being a graphic designer to being a coach online, and now I find my joy,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of like TikTok was kind of an experiment for me.
Hmm.
So, it was kind of like bringing it out to the world. And I just like, it started off with a post. I went to a Pride event and I was a vendor and I had my journals and had different things. And I had a sign out that said, your birthday has a story to tell. Want to know what it is? Just
Mm.
ask. And so I'd have people come up and they'd ask, and okay, what's your birthday? And I'd write down their numbers and I'd be like, oh, you're this. And I'd start talking. There was a guy, his jaw was on the floor. He's like, how do you know all this stuff about from my numbers? He's like getting his friends over, listen to this, listen to this. And I'm just telling him all this stuff. And it's like the strange lady, right? Like can tell
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much
yeah.
about you by your numbers. Like there's something here. So I went on TikTok to play one day and I did that little video of like, hey, and then people started dropping their birthdays. And so then I would do videos of like, hey, here's what your birthday is. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is, and then I had even like, I did lives and I would talk about their numbers. And I had people on lives that would be crying. Like I felt so like something was wrong with me, and I was like, nothing's wrong with me. I'm just misunderstood, right? Like to be able to like those powerful shifts on people was like amazing. And
Yeah, but
like,
they're
okay,
being
there's the,
seen probably for the first time, some of
for
them,
the
because they're
first time.
so
Hmm.
suppressed.
Yeah. And then sometimes being able to have words like, oh, I've always felt that way, but never expressed it. So now there's
Mm.
somebody that can see it. Yeah. And understand it. And now it can kind of start putting as, it is kind of like having an owner's manual. Like, okay, here's why I feel what I feel and do what I do. And now I can now like, and the whole point, what my work is too, is it's not just about knowledge. Because like if you just have information without
Yeah.
any actions, you just have information. But if you take information in a way to take action and incorporate it into your life, now you have transformation. Now
Mhm.
you can start living more aligned to who you are. Now you can have more joy, more happiness, more calm, more whatever it is you want in your life. So a lot of my stuff, like a lot of my videos are the first part giving information, but a lot of my products and the rest of my stuff is how can we incorporate that into your life, your day-to-day life? Now, how do we make your life better?
So what does
So
your client journey look like? They do the life path number first, and then they book like a one-on-one call with you, and then you walk them through something.
yeah, so what I have is I have my videos that'll talk about the just the basics, kind of like what we did here, just a real quick basics of their numbers. And then I have a free guide, and then from there I actually have it's going to be I'm rebranding everything, but it was like your birthday story, but now it's going to be like your birthday codes. It's going to be an owner's manual. So it's going to be like a quick start guide. So it'll give you an idea of what your numbers are. What do these mean? How can I use them? And then, yeah, they can book a call with me, a breakout call with me, and then we can go deeper into their numbers. I also have journals, ebooks, different kinds of things so they can like depending on how they want to go. Because some people don't necessarily want to jump on a call right away. Because some people want to learn about it before they jump on a call because it is kind of very intimate. That's one thing I've learned too. It's very intimate because you're learning sometimes you're bringing out things that people's never talked about. So that could be very, people aren't ready to have conversation. So, you can get into my ecosystem without having to have a conversation. And then when you're ready to have a conversation, we can go deeper into it. And then you can move along into the process and stuff. So trying to start out small because it's a lot. It can
I
be
think that's
overwhelming.
exciting though, because like not everyone is ready for to jump in there. It's like a healing journey, right? Or like an
Hmm.
awareness piece. Not everyone's ready to like talk about their inner feelings or their things with you right away. So the fact
Hmm.
that you offer products that's like a soft shop to help them understand and get the confidence to like book the call. I think a
Hmm.
lot of times too with me is like people don't understand what I do, right? So like for example, I call myself a spiritual graphic design entrepreneur business. Like I don't under like I try to help people in any area of their life. It doesn't need to be a business. I can work with them like say with their personal blockages, right? So like what you're doing is you're bringing awareness to all of these categories like your talents and like me speaking about my voice, I would have never done this if I didn't do my human design and know that I need to speak up because I have I create energy through my sacral and my voice. I have a defined G center, but my head and my root chakra is open. So like I have to do the research. It's like you said, I need to figure out the things
Hmm.
before and I need to just move. I need to just create in as like the artist. So they contradict like the open route and not and trying to get all the information, but having to be able to like just jump in the pool. So I could sit at the edge of the water and decide if I want to swim all day long. But if I don't just jump in the pool, I'm not going to experience my joy.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
this blueprint that you're making is great because people get to decide if they're going to sit at the sidelines or if they're going to jump in.
Right. And part of this too, in that document, it has like practical small things you can do to move from one to the other.
Oh, that's
So it
amazing.
gives you, yeah. So like it talks about, like kind of like too, it talks about the shadow side. What does it feel like? Because
Yes.
your life is dictated by these numbers, whether you're aware of it or not.
Yes.
So whether you go into, yeah, so they're there. And so sometimes a lot of people will be on that shadow side. What does that feel like? What would it like? How does that actually feel like in your life? Like we were talking about with your eight, you would feel very materialistic or feel like lacking and, oh, I got to have all this stuff before I can do anything. And so how do you move from that to being, you know, on the other side of your eight, where you're actually being able to pull in, being in the flow and pulling in abundance? How can you do that? So I have little like small things that you can do on a daily basis to move from one to the other. Because
And the
it's all
one,
about the action. How do I take action in my life? How do I incorporate this in my life? Because otherwise, I mean, it's just information.
yeah, the one thing I did learn from your reading was I distract myself so I don't have to deal with the things. So, for example, I saw that you like to do crafts or sewing or so you did, there was
Hmm.
something that you had posted. I quilt, I knit, I weld, I garden, I do everything under the
Yeah.
sun to distract from the problem or the
Hmm.
root. And in the last few years, I gave up all my paints. I got rid of all my fabrics. I lost my home in the divorce, so I don't have the space to distract myself.
Hmm.
I think you're given a certain path for a reason. I was stripped of everything, every possession, my home, my storage unit, all my belongings, and it funneled me to focus on what I meant to do.
Hmm.
Even to the fact where I lost a male partner, my job, like I was laid off for a year. Well, that's the universe, God, whatever you believe, is telling you to sit and do the work. Like I'm
Hmm.
back in grade one again, right? So this next step is like I'm getting full body chills when I'm saying this. My head is on fire right now, right here. So it's like I know that I was meant to like just sit and get quiet and listen, but do it in business. So the minute that I was laid off, I started training in AI and I started learning about my trade, and then I started learning about people who are successful and like, how do I heal myself? So I went on a healing journey. And one thing I learned, I just want to say this real quick, is it doesn't matter how much I worked out or ate healthy or did the things, I didn't lose a pound. I was
Mhm.
walking weighted vest. I was working out 2 hours a day. I was drinking the water, and my body wouldn't let me let go because my nervous system wasn't safe. And it's because of my trauma, the type of trauma that I have. Um, I started doing breath work in these classes with you guys, and my root started to relax, and I started to feel safe. But I had to do it internally. There was no external validation or place. So my internal root shifted my physical body, which was blowing my mind. So right now I'm on an extra like super health journey to try to like disconnect from all of the, I call it like the sludge or the garbage. I don't know
Mhm.
how to say it,
Yep. Yep.
but
Yep.
once I have
And
a
that's when.
fully clear
Mhm.
palette or a blank canvas, then I can really run. But I'm in the walking stages right now.
Right.
It's only
Yeah.
been 3 days, so
Yeah, you got to do it in your own timing and stuff like that too.
yeah.
But yeah, like that's part of like the three also like in the shadow side of the three will look for external validation a lot. And
Mm.
so when you can learn to like let go of that external validation and validate yourself like you're doing, then yeah, look at you glowing up and look at you finally like leaning into that stuff. It's freaking amazing. I love it.
Yeah, but it's like this morning's tears were positive.
Hmm.
They were
Yeah.
excitement. I just peeked in and I saw the little window or the
Hmm.
light. Like I just saw like what my future looks like, and it was like abundance because I've been in such of a lack or a lower vibration, or like you say, the shadow side of the energy for so long. And because
Hmm.
I'm in this energy of this year, I'm ready to run. Like I'm ready to do what it takes. So it's exciting that I have no blockages in front of me right now to like move
Yay.
forward. Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's exciting. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
How about you? How is the energy for you this year so far?
Yeah, it's been the same. Like, there's been a lot of growth for me in this
Mm,
year, and I think I'm getting a lot more clarity. Because I've been doing like trying to like working on this for the last couple of years, and I think last year was my year of like trying it out and getting the putting it on TikTok and going, oh, this is getting that part behind underneath the foundation, I guess,
yeah.
underneath. And so now it's ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's do this, right? Like, and the same thing with my future. Because, like, I'm looking at next year is going to be my 5 year. My birthday's in December. So,
Mm,
towards the end of this year is when my major changes is going to happen. Well, I'm also planning on moving next year. My son graduates from high school. So, there's a lot of things that this is my preparation to get ready for all of that. So that's
at
where I
least
feel like I'm building that foundation. Yeah.
at least you're conscious that you know it's happening, where a lot of people
Hmm.
stay unconscious and then these major life changes happen and then their life blows up in front of their face. I think
Right.
it's grateful to see that you're so aware because you're doing the work.
Right. And that's one thing about this is like that's why like I love doing this work is because yeah, it makes like now major changes doesn't come and just knock you over. You can like,
Mm.
okay, this is my year that this is what's going to happen. You can prepare yourself for it. You can do certain things so that way, yeah, you're like taking control of it versus it just like happening to you. Now, there probably will be some things that I won't expect, but at least like I'm ready for it, right? I'll be braced for it and be able to take it in stride and know that it's my lessons and whatever comes to me is going to come in a way that I'm supposed to have it. So yeah, there's a lot to this. It allows you to move through life with such like instead of fear-based, we can kind of come from love and joy and calm, like finding your joy in every day. You're not like before you'd be afraid, right? I'm afraid of what people think. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. So you're walking around and you're actually like putting yourself like in a cute like a prison. You're like
Mhm.
you're putting yourself in a little box like, oh, I'm so afraid if I touch, like you just get smaller and smaller and smaller. And so when you start to like, oh, this is like happening for me and start looking at like start realizing all the things, and you start, learning about yourself with human design, numerology, astrology, whatever it is you use. Like there's so many modalities out there. Find what aligns with you,
Hmm.
and you start learning about yourself. Now you can start being expansive. Now you can start hanging, you're not afraid of the things, because fear is just fear, right? It's not real. It's in our heads. So it's kind of interesting to watch people do that, and they start becoming expansive and stepping into their joy, stepping into their purpose, and they light up. It's awesome. So,
So
yeah.
the way I explain it is you live your life through the polarity of the human experience. So you move through that
Hmm.
stuck energy, right? So yours is you're basically saying the exact same thing that I teach. I just say it in a different way,
Hmm.
right? So it's kind of
Yep.
exciting because you're going to hit people that I can't reach, right?
Hmm.
And you're going to speak
Yeah.
to them in a way that they need to be or they need to hear, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
everyone is different. I don't know.
Yeah. And
It's
that's
just
why
like,
we're not like in competition with each other,
yeah.
because yeah, because like yeah, we're gonna say things differently, do things differently, and then yeah, people are gonna hear it. People may hear it from you better than they would hear it from me, and then that's great. They're at least they're getting it, they're understanding it. It doesn't matter where it comes from. So yeah, it's kind of like that. Like yeah, we might be doing very similar work, but we're gonna pull in our own people, and it doesn't matter, right?
This
So
is
it's
what
kind of cool.
one of my favorite things to make is banana bread. So everyone makes the banana bread different. And you've
Oh,
never had bad banana bread. Like have you unless
mhm.
it's like really dry, like put an extra egg or a banana in there and it's
Right?
good. But like I had someone's banana
Yeah.
bread the other day and I'm like, you know, it's just the mix. It's your mix and it's still good. It's just
Yeah.
different people might like
Yep.
yours better, but it's still a delicious thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, and what is it they always say? Like, go down the bread aisle and you see like there's so many different styles of bread or so many different things of bread. Is like, so you just do it, right? It doesn't matter because yeah,
Hmm.
somebody's gonna like your banana nut bread better, or your banana bread. I love banana nut bread. I've never made it though, but maybe it'll be something on my list. But yeah, there's just so many different ways you can do things. And I think sometimes we'll be like, oh, well, somebody else is doing it. Sometimes that self-doubt creeps in. It does that to me sometimes too. I'll be on, scrolling through. I'm like, oh, here's somebody else talking about numbers. Well, maybe I don't need to be talking about numbers, but somebody's going to hear it the way I do it. And people like the way that I talk about them. So,
Just to
yeah,
go
you're going
back
to
to
find
the
your people.
Yeah, just to go back to the banana bread, I make it with love. That's what I tell people. And what that
Right.
is extra bananas, extra butter, brown sugar, and maple syrup. And no one puts maple syrup in in there.
Oh,
So I make a crumble and I drizzle it with maple syrup and it's really sweet on top, but not so sweet in the
hmm.
middle. And it's just, oh, it's so delicious. So,
Oh my
but what
goodness.
I'm saying is
Okay, I want some of
yours,
your banana bread.
yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
So yours is going to be good still. It's just different, right?
It's just
So,
different. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
You're
it's a
making me
lot of different
hungry.
flavors on it. Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love that analogy. It's perfect and what it is. Yeah. So, but sometimes that fear, right? That fear or self-doubt that can come in stops a lot of people from doing their purpose. It stops them from talking. It stops them from putting it out there. And then now the world is missing out on that voice, on
Mhm.
that light. And now the people that they were going to reach won't find them. And so they may not be able to find, or, maybe they'll find the work in other places, but it may not fully align. Maybe they'll give up on it or whatever. You don't know. So it's like, yeah, you got to put it out there and go for
Mhm.
it. Again, we don't wait for permission. We just do it. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to stop us. So yeah, I think one of the things like I struggled at first, like speaking about, the birthday codes and all that stuff. But then I was thinking like, man, there's all this like manosphere and people that are talking crap, crap that's just crazy out there. I'm like, why can't I put a little bit of my light out there, And so,
Mhm.
sometimes like that will help me like shift my mindset to be like, okay, well, because what I have to say is important too. Let me put it out there, and the people that will resonate with it will find me.
Well, I'm grateful that you decided to come on the podcast today. Looking forward to maybe doing this again down the road. And where can people find you?
So I have my website at redfeatherserenity.com. And then I'm on Instagram at Janet Redfeather, and I'm on TikTok at Redfeather as well.
So I'll put all the links in below and we'll link that PDF so people can check that out as well.
Yeah,
And look forward to speaking with you again.
All right. I look forward to it. All right.